been asked to be the spokesman for this Allied Expeditionary Force in saying a word of introduction to what you're about to see. It is a story of the Nazi defeat on the Western Front. So far as possible, the editors have made it an account of the really important men in this campaign. I mean the enlisted soldiers, sailors, and airmen that fought through every obstacle to victory. Of course, to tell the whole story would take years, but the theme would be the same. Teamwork wins wars. I mean teamwork among nations, services, and men. All the way down the line, from the GI and the Tommy to us brass hats. Our enemy in this campaign was strong, resourceful, and cunning, but he made a few mistakes. His greatest blunder was this. He thought he could break up our partnership, but we were welded together by fighting for one great cause, into one great team, a team in which you were an indispensable and working member. That spirit of free people, working, fighting, and living together in one great cause, has served us well on the Western Front. We in the field pray that that spirit of comradeship will persist forever among the free peoples of the United Nations.
September 1st, 1939. In the morning hours, the peace that Europe has enjoyed since 1919 is shattered as German forces smash across the Polish border. The attack is in response to a supposed Polish raid into Germany. That raid was in fact staged by Nazi agents in Polish army uniforms. Hitler pretends to be outraged and launches what is certainly the biggest counterattack in history. 53 divisions in all. The Polish army stands no real chance against the German armies. German forces slice through the Polish defenses very quickly. Germany is far superior on the ground and in the air. Germany's panzer tanks are followed up by armored infantry units. They strike Polish forces from all directions. September 2nd, Hitler is very happy because his attack is going well and ahead of schedule. He is also surprised Britain and France have not come to help Poland as they promised they would. September 3rd, Britain tells Hitler he has a choice to pull out of Poland or face them in war. In response, Hitler orders his armies to advance. Soon there is destruction across all of Poland. Thousands are taken prisoner. If this isn't enough, on September 17th, Russian Premier Joseph Stalin orders his armies into Poland to claim his share of their country. By the 19th, Poland's forces are scattered and unable to defend themselves against superior forces of Russia and Germany. Poland's citizens fall into panic. The Polish government is forced to surrender by the 29th of September 1939. By now, the Nazi armies are strong. Britain and her allies now have to face a large and terrible foe. Soldiers mobilize across the globe. Everyone who survived this war are heroes. One of the many groups that helped change the direction of World War II are the brave and honored 82nd Airborne Division of the United States.
Beautiful sight, isn't it? You've got to look to the skies to see something pretty in war. Isn't much of it in ground fighting. Of course, this scene wouldn't be so pretty with flak in the skies tearing up planes, chewing up parachutes and troopers. Only this is a practice jump. New kids in the post-war 82nd Airborne, fancy new planes and equipment. Those have changed, for the better, I guess. But one thing hasn't. One thing they can't improve. That's a fighting heart, the will to win. These kids have to have it. So did we when we joined the outfit in 1942. They called it the All-American Division because it came from all the states and made troopers of all kinds of guys. Or maybe it was All-American because we were winners all the time. It was a champion outfit, all right. Back in World War I, the 82nd Infantry Division had shown its stuff when it launched an attack to relieve the famous Lost Battalion and produced the greatest hero of that war, Sergeant Alvin York. And a great hero of World War II, General Jonathan Wainwright, who was a major then. So these rookies have a fighting tradition to follow. Next, you give them top-flight generals. Omar Bradley, who took over in March 1942 and taught us how to fight on the ground. Matt Ridgway, who came after him in June and showed us how to fight from the air. Yeah, they gave us the best in leaders. And we had a rough time keeping up with them. They trained us. Brother, how they trained us. With run, and jump, and climb, and crawl, calisthenics, rifle range, shoot school, glider loading, practice jumps, crash landing. We took it for weeks and months. Training is continuous, the brass said. Continuous. Hell, it lasted from Fort Benning to North Africa, from Louisiana to the Sahara. We were trained fine, hard, mean, and mad. When they told us we were the best damn fighting outfit in the world, we believed it.
World War II is one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, involving more than over 100 million people from over 30 countries across the globe. World War II lasted from 1939 until 1945. After the invasion of Poland, there were many smaller battles that led up to 1942, when the battles of the Coral Sea and Midway started changing the direction of the war.
The next big campaign, the invasion of Sicily, brought further demonstration of this basic truth. Allied troops took this vital rock in the summer of 1943. The effect of Sicily's fall was electric. Italy surrendered, the first of the Axis partners to capitulate. And now the Allies prepared for what was to be the most fiercely fought battle of the Mediterranean War. The invasion of Italy itself at Salerno. Through a miracle of courage and tenacity, troops of General Mark Clark's Fifth Army established a beachhead against overwhelming German odds and went on to take Salerno and the vital port of Naples.
In August 1942, the 82nd Infantry Division originally consisted of the 325th, 326th, and 327th Infantry Regiments. Later, the 101st Airborne Division, the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, and the 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment. After the invasion of Italy, the 504th was detached from the 82nd Airborne Division and moved to the United Kingdom to prepare for the liberation of Europe.
Barges approach shore ready for instant action, some bearing artillery and rocket guns already opening fire.
The 82nd Airborne were dropped in 5 hours ahead of D-Day landings. By September of 1944, the 82nd had been moved to Operation Market Garden in the Netherlands, where they were to seize key bridges and roads behind German lines. At this time, the 504th was brought back to the 82nd, and the 507th was assigned to the 17th Airborne for training in England. After completion of Operation Market Garden, the 82nd was sent to France to help there. Fighting battles through the winter was hard on everyone. December of 1944, the Germans launched a surprise attack which became known as the Battle of the
After
Bulge.
von Rundstedt had launched his counteroffensive, elements of Patton's Third Army, racing up from the south, struck the German on his southern flank. The pressure was off the 101st Airborne. The 1st American Army attacked from the north. After the British struck the Bulge on the west, the 3rd Army smashed on north to link up with the 1st Army. Then the weather cleared, and our planes took to the air, blasting von Rundstedt's forces. The Battle of the Bulge was soon over. The enemy was retreating. The Germans had thrown their last big Sunday punch of the war.
The 82nd Airborne was on the northern face of the Bulge. The 82nd Airborne's 8,520 men were pushed back by the superior numbered forces of 43,000 men brought in by the opposing Panzer military forces. One of the Panzer groups were sent south to take on General Patton's forces, taking away some of the numbers that were against the 82nd. This left Germany to take on a defensive position in this battle. January of 1945, the 82nd Airborne Division conducted a counterattack. After several days of fighting, they destroyed the German forces. After helping to secure a few areas within Germany, the 82nd Airborne Division helped end the war at Ludwigslust, Germany. Many high-ranking officials said that German opposition was too great across the River Elbe. The 82nd Airborne Division teamed up with the British 6th Airborne Division and in one day captured over 100,000 troops, helping to cause Germany's surrender.
Historic pictures of the last days of the war in Europe show American and Russian troops as they joined at Torgau on the River Elbe, splitting German armies in two. United States General Reinhardt meets Red Army General Rusakov. a meeting that spelled out certain German defeat. At Allied Mediterranean headquarters in Italy, the Germans unconditionally give up all of Italy and southern Austria. In civilian clothes, representatives of the German armies signed the surrender document. General W.D. Morgan, representing Supreme Mediterranean Commander Alexander, signs for the Allies. Preceding the final capitulation at Reims, this surrender eliminated 1 million German troops.
The 82nd Airborne Division stayed in Berlin for occupation duty until December of 1945. The troops that made the 82nd Airborne Division had a definite and decisive role in the battles that made up and helped win World War II.